Registered investment advisors are sitting on $45 trillion worth of baby boomer wealth, as is well known. That's a tremendous fortune. This generation is the wealthiest in Earth's history, and they're all going to perish. To illustrate the point, younger people appreciate crypto while Charlie Munger's money is flowing to younger people after he died, was arrested, and was sold. As a result, there is a new affluent generation that is genuinely content with digital possessions, so that's the main point. Secondly, our government is completely unhinged. For example, our government just can't seem to rein in its spending. Both the liberal and conservative camps argue that Congress is wasting money and failing its constituents, which drives up the price of Bitcoin. Just 5 months into the year 2024, and the cryptocurrency sector as a whole is shaping up to be a watershed year. Following 10 years of setbacks, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission last month authorized multiple spot Bitcoin ETFs. Spot Bitcoin ETFs like eShares Bitcoin Trust by BlackRock and Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund by Fidelity have been incredibly successful, driving up the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin achieved a new record high of $773,000 in March, a significant milestone in its history. A bullish market has begun as Bitcoin's value has increased by more than 150%. A number of other significant events have transpired since the authorization of spot Bitcoin ETFs. However, the regulatory changes have been the most consequential. Mike Novogratz, chief operating officer of Galaxy Digital, claims that the political climate is changing at a rate not seen since Bitcoin's beginning. In an attempt to bring about more reasonable regulation of the cryptocurrency market, the U.S. Senate voted on May 16, 2024, to nullify the SEC Staff Accounting Bulletin 121. This action, together with the U.S. House of Representatives passing the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, marks a major triumph for the cryptocurrency industry. These regulatory developments were highlighted by Novogratz, emphasizing their ability to entice many billions of dollars to invest in Bitcoin and other digital assets. With the political climate around cryptocurrency for the past 2 weeks, it all began with a strange White House message that stated President Biden would veto any attempt to repeal SAV 21. Consider this: the president is making a public proclamation that he would veto a complex accounting rule proposed by the SEC. Why are you acting this way? Wait a second, I'm going to be the president of cryptocurrency, Donald Trump announces, overcoming the smart political machine. Bitcoin is popular among many. You like it, and I'll back you up, even though I'm not a huge fan of it. I will govern over your nation. This ought to be a nonpartisan matter, and I've been attempting to convey this message in Washington, D.C. for years. Both major parties must work together on this. My Democratic friends, please stop prodding the beast. On that particular day, the beast was pricked. Am I correct? The Democratic Party has officially decided to be the party that dislikes dogs, I tweeted. Wow, am I correct? In the United States, the number of Bitcoin owners exceeds that of dog owners. More often than not, they vote based on just one topic. It was only that week. On crypto Twitter, you might notice it. Aggressiveness escalated. For a while, it felt like a purity test. One cannot be considered a true crypto guy if he does not cast a Republican ballot. The news even made it to the Democratic Party. Now tell me what you saw. At first, you noticed that 10 or 9 Democrats crossed over on Senate Bill 121, an obscure accounting law that will open our territory to TradeFi custodians, correct? There are a lot of crypto jobs in New York, therefore it's even more significant that Senator Schumer, the head of the Senate, is from that state. The SEC announces, well, all the ETF applicants get ready either that day or the day after. What transpired is a mystery to me. Somebody in the White House must have contacted Mr. Gensler and told him, dude, you got to change your stance. Nothing else makes sense from a logical standpoint. Now that we're expecting an ETF, I can't say anything with certainty since I wasn't there. To a large extent, crypto politics were influenced by Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth, your party has had enough of anything that has transpired in the past 2 weeks. We are quite unhappy that you have put us in such a bind with this large block of crypto voters during this close election year. You might see this as a huge rejection of Elizabeth Warren in many respects. It has started the ball rolling, which is fantastic for everyone involved, isn't it? We are off to a fantastic start, having passed FIT 121. I thought that was in the Senate already. So here's how things work in Washington. The House passes bills, the Republicans write them, and then the Senate makes them into law. So Michigan Senator Debbie Stabenow is the most important person. Right now, isn't she? The Senate version of this bill will be crafted from the AG committee, where she now serves as chair, by members of both parties. You know, those two can make a decision if that comes through. It will be put to a vote by Schumer, and if it passes, it will become law. The passage or repeal of this accounting rule and the market infrastructure bill are the two most significant developments that will impact the U.S. crypto scene. How is the accounting rule put into action? State Street and the Bank of New York, two of the largest custodians in the world, can now begin holding cryptocurrency and the market structure bill. This is bad news for me because Citibank will be contacting staffing agencies the day following this to find new hires. However, the lack of clarity over regulations is what has prevented Wall Street as a whole from engaging in the online marketplaces. That's right, the dread that the Federal Reserve will give you the cold shoulder. They anticipate that the SEC will be very demanding, similar to the majority of crypto firms they anticipate receiving a Wells notice, so if it disappears, you'll witness a stampede of financial institutions like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Citibank, Jefferies, and everyone else within this area. That's when the true showdown about who will serve as the universe's service providers begins, so I guess I'm hoping it gets pushed out a bit. So that men like us can get stronger. So yes, the pioneers are the clients of wealth management firms who have expressed interest in becoming a part of this. Just so you know, firms like Morgan Stanley require the ETF to be in the market for slightly over 3 months before their salespeople can even think about calling to suggest that their client invest 2% of their portfolio in Bitcoin. People get orange-pilled, not merely by Bitcoin. I thought Bitcoin was sold. Everyone here is a soldier who has persuaded someone of the value of cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Ripple, depending on your level of Brad Garlinghouse, right? That is an intriguing observation. A brand new asset practically always sells itself, doesn't it? Larry Fink was slapped in the face. His decision to become a Bitcoin corporation was not made out of thin air. 10 or 12 people made an earnest attempt to persuade them of Bitcoin's essentiality to the future. Hundreds of salespeople at Morgan Stanley and other RIAs around the country are now familiar with the narrative and are calling clients to advise them to invest 2% of their portfolio. What is it that frightens you? Am I correct? Having that discussion this is a discussion that will last a decade, not a few weeks. People are fond of two things in particular. It is common knowledge that registered investment advisors hold the $45 trillion in wealth that the baby boomers have amassed. That's a tremendous fortune. This generation is the wealthiest in Earth's history, and they're all going to perish. In the same manner that Charlie Munger's wealth has been sold, arrested, and passed on to younger generations, which are more interested in cryptocurrency. That being said, there is a new generation of wealthy people who are completely content with digital assets. In fact, they consider them to be their asset class. So that's the main point. Secondly, our government is completely unhinged. For example, our government just can't seem to rein in its spending. Both the liberal and conservative camps argue that Congress is wasting money and failing its constituents, which drives up the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin follows the same storyline as gold and silver. It won't happen.